Ladies and gentlemen, welcome wrestling fans worldwide to Knoxville and the Great Smoky Mountains for the Ron Fuller Tennessee Studcast.
6 feet 9 inches tall, 265 pounds.
This historic podcast from one of the most respected and successful wrestlers and promoters will follow the footsteps of the largest and oldest wrestling family on the planet.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's right. Bring that camera in here a little bit closer.
Through 93 years and 4 generations.
The stud has arrived.
Old school or new fan, this unique broadcast will educate and captivate as Ron details decades of professional wrestling's growth with truly unforgettable stories.
I want those people out there at home to hear the stud.
Sit back and enjoy the ride with the Tennessee Stud.
The Tennessee Stud. You will learn that name. You will remember it.
And now,
the stud is here.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Here we go. It's David Summers, and it's another Studcast with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. This is the story of wrestling in America as told by the Stud, whose family started the profession over 100 years ago. So now, let's step back into the ring, back into time. Let's get wall to wall and treetop tall with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Hey, Ron, I was riding around the Ross Clark Circle, the famous 14-mile loop around Dothan, Alabama the other day, and I came by the Houston County Farm Center. It's unbelievable what they've done to the building. At one point, they even talked about tearing it down, but they said, no, we can. It's a legend in this area. So they've torn the walls down, and all that remains is basically the roof. So it's certainly a little bit like, wow, look at the farm center when you ride by. How long since you've seen the farm center?
Well, Jace, man, it's probably at least 6, maybe 5 or 6 years. I've been there to do some appearances in Dothan. They had a gentleman there, great guy, who was running some wrestling there, not in the farm center, but in other facilities. And so, you know, he was bringing me and my brother and Jimmy and quite a few other wrestlers in.
Yeah.
But I saw a picture of it myself the other day, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look very much like it used to.
Man, you have seen some legendary days inside that farm center in years gone by, and it's not. It's easy to understand if you remember those days how Dothan became a hotbed, as they called it, hotbed of wrestling, and some of the numbers.
The one thing about that building, man, it was a hotbed, literally, man, especially in the summertime. I remember having a 60-minute match with Harley in there.
Yeah.
In the middle of the summer. I lost 18 pounds in one match.
Wow, I've heard you tell that before, and that's incredible. But there was no air conditioning. They did have a heater in the wintertime, but nobody cared about that. So anyway, but they're definitely doing some renovating to the old farm center. I don't know if they'll ever host wrestling again, but it's interesting to see that legendary building still stands. All right, Stud, I tell you what, it's time to start talking about the next Studcast. Lately, when we reached this point, you've been wanting to do a little recap for everybody on the last Studcast. You want to do that again today?
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that, Dave. Start out that way. There's just so much information that goes on in each of these new Studcasts, especially now that we're adding the videos and stuff. And I always like to make sure fans have no unanswered questions about the last episode. And if they do, you know, they can go to my Ron Fuller, the Tennessee Stud Facebook page, and they can leave me their questions if they have them. And if you are not already a friend with me there, you can go to that page and simply like me and automatically become friends with me. So that way they can leave their question anytime they want. So every Wednesday, man, is the release, obviously, of another new Studcast. And it's only on TennesseeStudStreaming.com channel now. And I will be putting up a weekly post every Wednesday, starting today, actually, on the Ron Fuller Tennessee Stud Facebook page after the release of each one of these Studcasts on TennesseeStudStreaming.com channel, so that they can see where they can leave their questions if they have them.
Yeah. Good
And
deal.
last Studcast, Dave, was number 394. And basically, it was unforgettable to me because it's the one where Jimmy Golden and Ron Bass attacked my father in an empty TV studio where he and Charlie Platt were recording a personality profile in advance
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be used later on in the TV show. And Golden and Bass basically left him in the ring with only Charlie and the cameraman to help him. They left him laying there, pile drived him, and Golden grabbed his legs and jammed his head while Bass did the pile drive. And wow, nasty looking thing, man. So I think this was the only time in my memory of recording. I think I was probably, and that's 17. I kind of looked at this once I thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've done 700 TV shows in 14 years.
Wow. Are you kidding? Wow.
I went back and kind of did the math, and wow, it's just amazing. And I can't remember anything similar to this happening. What happened in this last episode, this last Studcast, and I think it was almost as bad as what Jimmy Golden had done to my father in Tennessee in the summer of 1979. It was the first time that Jimmy Golden ever turned heel in his career. And that's Don Carson had led Tor Tanaka and Mr. Fuji, who were both WWF tag team champions in the past, and they were the tag team champion belts at this point, and they got themselves a win over the champions Ron and Don Wright, and my father and I, we challenged them to a championship match. Jimmy Golden, who was a lifetime at this point babyface, he'd never been a heel. And his entire career, he came to me and my dad, and he asked us if he could manage us against the champions because he knew that Don Carson was managing Tanaka and Fuji, and he said he said I just think something crazy is going to happen in this upcoming match, and I'd like to see you guys win those belts. So Jimmy had never wrestled a single match in his life as a heel at this point, and certainly had no reason to turn on his family members. So we welcomed him to be our manager in the title match. When my father was about to win the match with his Fuller leg lock, Golden, who was standing in our corner as a manager during the match, hit me in the back with a steel chair, man, and then ran me head first into the steel ring post. Then he went in the ring and he stomped my father loose, who had this finishing hold on, I believe it was Fuji, and the two Japanese wrestlers. Then they picked up my father. One grabbed him underneath his arms and the other one by his legs, and they held him up about waist high. Jimmy Golden climbed up on the top rope, and he jumped across my father's body, man, landed on top of him, which jerked him out of their hands, and just made that fall even more horrible for my dad.
Wow.
He landed on top of him, coming down with all his weight on him. And to make things even worse, Golden was aware my father had had back surgery just a year before this happened.
Wow, that is just unreal. You got to be kidding, Stud. So this was not the first time Jimmy Golden had done damage to your father. So, I mean, how could he do something like that 2 years before this incident, knowing that your father already had a bad back? And here's this, too. I remember in the last Studcast, you saying Jimmy had a problem with your father back when Jimmy was in high school and got himself in trouble, as his father made Jimmy live with your family for months, and how Jimmy hated it because your father made him work every day.
I remember it well. I know it certainly sounds crazy, Dave, but my father had forgiven him about what had happened in Tennessee at this point, and this is 1981. That happened in 79. Then in the last Studcast, in March of 1981, he and Ron Bass, Jimmy joined forces, and Jimmy jumps off the top rope again and drives my dad's head into the mat as Bass was pile driving him. It was just crazy, and all that because my father was going to referee a couple of matches, Jimmy's matches against Ken Lucas. So it was quite a little quite a nasty situation that occurred there.
I can't figure out why he decided to do that. I know obviously that runs deep, whatever it was, but you were gone from Southeastern, I guess, with no plans of coming back. And what is the old saying? Let a sleeping dog lie. So instead of that, Jimmy Golden enrages you for no good reason, and here you were right back in his face.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of stupid on his part, because I had no intentions of coming back. I'd been in California, and that's basically a good description of all this, Dave. I came home out for blood, and everybody knew whose blood that was going to be.
It's been a really cool deep dive into this subject so far. All right, but how about we take a deep dive into the card for this Studcast? You want to set it up for us?
Yes, sir. We can do that right now. This was a big card, man. Had 7 matches on it. The first match of the night was a return match from the last card. Robert Gibson had wrestled a new Russian named Chris Markov to a 15-minute time limit the week before. So we brought that match back again, and we added another 15 minutes and gave it a 30 minutes time limit. Then the first of 5 championship matches was next. For the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Stan Lane, was defending against the former champion, Brad Armstrong. For the Alabama Championship, Bob Armstrong was defending against the former champion, Masa Saito. Third championship match on the card was for the Southeastern belt. Ken Lucas was defending against Ron Bass. This next match had lumberjacks around the ring. Keep wrestlers outside the ring to keep contestants in, and it was for the Southeastern Tag Championship. The champions, Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, were defending against Paul Orndorff and Norvell Austin. And then Les Thornton was back after 2 weeks. He'd only been gone for those world championship matches for 2 weeks, and he came back to try and regain his World Junior Championship. And and for this time, Jerry Stubbs had been world champion at this point, I think, already 2 times. So the last match was simply a grudge match, man, between 2 family members. Jimmy Golden was facing the guy that had gone for 2 months, me, Ron Fuller, Tennessee stud. But after what had happened in the last Studcast, this turned out to be anything but a simple grudge match.
Sounds like it, and a tremendous card at that, almost as good as the double world championship card from a couple of weeks ago. 5 championship matches and a grudge match over an incident that was going to be highly talked about. So I'm sure in the upcoming TV show, definitely. All right. So speaking of that TV show, how did that TV show get started?
Well, this was going to be the most loaded TV show in Southeastern history, man. This one has 9 videos alone in it. Now that we can do videos, and 5 matches in a format designed for only 4 in this show. 2, this has never happened before. And there was a tremendous amount of angles going on at that time. And I guess because it was the first day back on TV in a couple of months, I guess I got a little carried away, man. Once I came back, I was like, wow, let's load this sucker up. And there were 2 live matches in the first segment alone. And the profile was going to be a replay of what had happened the week before with my father. And instead of there being no sound on it, like it was in the last Studcast, this time it's going to be with sound. And it's going to be a lot of sound to it, I should say. And I would be going to be making my first TV appearance in 2 months down there in the southeastern area.
All right, it really sounds like something special, Stud. You said there were 2 live matches in the opening segment of this TV. How did that happen?
Well, in one of the biggest matches on the card, Jerry Stubbs was going to be getting another shot at the World Junior Championship that he had lost, basically 2 weeks earlier before the champion, Les Thornton, had left. And in his last day, he was able to capture that belt. Stubbs opening things in a way that was going to set the tone for the rest of the show. And in fact, Jerry was in and out of the first video on the show.
Okay, so I mean, it's got to be loaded with video. Absolutely, this might be the first time we've ever opened the TV show with a video match. All right, so let's do it. Here comes Brian, our producer, who's going to set up the first video of this loaded show. Here it is.
Introducing in the corner to my left at 218 pounds from Dothan, Alabama, Ray Harris. Ray Harris. His opponent at 225 pounds from Atlanta, Georgia, Jerry Stubbs. Jerry Stubbs. Former U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. That title being held up because of Golden winning the title from Stubbs, and Golden later found to be overweight in that category. Body slam by Stubbs.
Jerry opening up, and of course, Stubbs very upset about the situation. First, losing the belt to Golden. Secondly, having the belt taken away from Golden because of him being overweight, and now the belt has been held up, as we mentioned at the top of the program. But Jerry Stubbs, a tough competitor, right now with that front chancery on Ray Harris. Harris looking for an opening here, for a handle. A nice short ride on the suplex, takedown, and pulling the shoulders of Ray Harris up. Might have been a little early to try for a pin, but Stubbs didn't want to take a chance. He wants to do a little damage, and he is blocking Harris. Harris has the speed, but Stubbs certainly with the major portion of the experience in that wrestling ring right now, Charlie.
And he maintains that chancery on Harris. Harris looking for some means of escape. Stubbs, the former champion, using that headbutt.
Stubbs back to that front chancery once again and applying the pressure. Ray Harris gaining experience with each outing, Charlie, but when you're in against a man like Stubbs, you've got to be out there 100%, whether it be mentally, physically, or whatever, because Stubbs is always finely honed. You may not appreciate his tactics, but you've got to appreciate the fact that the man does win, and win with a lot of consistency.
You have to admire Stubbs, the intense this man goes through every week, Les. We talked with Jerry on several occasions, and he spends a lot of time in the gym staying in condition.
And recent weeks, Jerry has been going through a lot of mental anguish involving challenges for his belt, that belt being held up, being defeated for it, etc., and on and on. And Jerry Stubbs venting that frustration on one Ray Harris.
Side headlock by Stubbs now. Harris takes his man over into the rope. Good shoulder smash by Stubbs. Takes Harris up.
Harris coming up slowly now. Stubbs staying right on top of him. This is one of the keys that's made Jerry Stubbs such a potent offensive weapon in that wrestling ring. He presses for advantage and keeps his opponent moving at all times. Right now, Ray Harris trying to break Stubbs down. Stubbs with the advantage certainly here. Stubbs talking to me earlier, Charlie, before the program, mentioning that he indeed wanted to become the ultimate junior heavyweight wrestling machine in his sport. And you can't say that the man does not have the tools to do it. Harris battling back now. And Ray Harris getting his first shot offensively and handling Stubbs well.
Stubbs fighting back now in that corner. Good forearm and connection to the side of the head. Stubbs takes his man over in that turnbuckle. Comes off. There's that Jerry Stubbs power slam and into a pinning position. That's it.
He's got him, Charlie, with a power slam and a body press. Jerry Stubbs comes up with a win over Ray Harris.
And unsportsmanlike conduct on the part of Stubbs after the man defeated. There you saw.
I'll tell you what, Ron, Jerry Stubbs really was ready for some better competition, and he was about to get just that against Les Thornton on this upcoming card. He had another chance to be the world junior heavyweight champion, this time for the third time at that. How about that?
Well, we're not going to have to wait long, Dave, to see what a match with Stubbs and Thornton looks like, as a matter of fact. Stubbs went straight from the ring over to the set with Charlie Platt, and he watched the ending of one of the 4 championship matches from 2 weeks earlier, 4 matches in 5 nights. He was wrestling Les Thornton for the world title. And so this was, let's take a look at this match and see what this one looks like.
All right, I'll tell you what, Ron, you're bombarding us with videos right off the bell. You must be really happy to get back home from California. All right, so Brian, our producer, is going to show us the next video of the end of the World Junior Heavyweight Championship match, and here it is.
A reminder for all of our wrestling fans, they'll be wrestling this coming Monday night in Brewton, Alabama. The National Guard Armory. Match time will be 8 o'clock on Friday night in Evergreen. The Evergreen High School Gymnasium match time there will be 8:30. And on these cards of pro wrestling, you'll be seeing the former World Junior Heavyweight Champion Jerry Stubbs in action. Jerry, Les Thornton is returning to the southeastern area. International Sports Incorporated has gone to quite a bit of trouble to get Mr. Thornton back in this area. Several contracts have been signed, and on those contracts, you have a chance at that World Junior title that you once held.
Well, you know, Les Thornton has made the comment that he does not like to come back down in this area. And, you know, a lot of people say I'm the reason why he don't like to come. Well, I feel good about that because Les Thornton knows deep down inside that I've beat him twice. I've took that belt away from him 2 times. So he knows that any time he comes down this area and has to face me, he's got a chance of losing that belt. And I got several contracts signed, International Sports Incorporated. I went to them and they said that, yeah, sure, every time you get a chance to meet Thornton while he's in this area, your name will be on that dotted line and it will be a championship match. So, you know, I feel good about that, and I feel that I can take that World Junior belt away from Les Thornton once again and be 3 times World Junior champion.
I know several times on several occasions you've wrestled Les Thornton. Now, Jerry, do you have any special strategy going into these upcoming matches?
Well, the only strategy I have is getting in the gym and getting in shape, because Les Thornton's one that believes in staying in shape. He is in top shape, so I got to be in top shape when I go face Les Thornton. That's the reason that I believe if I'm in the shape that I'm supposed to be in and am in, that I can take the belt from Les Thornton.
Best of luck to you in those challenge attempts for the World Junior Heavyweight title. Former World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Jerry Stubbs. Joining me now for this, former World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Jerry Stubbs. Jerry, it's always good to have you out with us.
Well, thank you, Charlie. You know, it's good to be here. You know, I got my head right now. You know, I got Les Thornton coming back in the area, and, you know, everything's been good. The fans have been behind me. They've been pushing me. You know, they said, Jerry, you can do it. You know, and I believe I can do it. So Les Thornton knows I can do it.
Speaking of Les Thornton, we have some videotape. Wayne, if we could roll it upstairs, of Jerry Stubbs in action against the World Junior Heavyweight Champion, Les Thornton, the title which you've held on 2 occasions now, Jerry.
That's right. You know, I said I wanted to be 2-time World Junior Heavyweight Champion, and I was. Now I want to be 3 times World Junior Heavyweight Champion. But at this point right here, you notice on the film that I put the sleeper. You know, I went to Ken Lucas, and Ken Lucas showed me this. I'm not a master of this, but I can use it enough to wear my opponent down, and that's exactly what I want to do to Les Thornton, because Les Thornton stays in tip-top shape, and I knew that I was going to have to do something extra to wear him down, to defeat him. Right here, he was able to push me in the rope, but you see, I have wore him down. I hadn't put him to sleep, but I have wore him down to where he's almost out. But he's a hard man to put out, Charlie.
He's a great athlete, Les Thornton, of course, Manchester, England, the World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Well, you know, you say he's a great athlete. I know for a fact that he gets in the gym, he works out hard, he stays in top shape, and he is a heck of an athlete. And he wouldn't, you know, if he wasn't a heck of an athlete, he wouldn't be World Junior Heavyweight Champion. Right here, I got the man wore down. I'm wanting to pin him. I roll him over. Here goes the 1, 2, but you see, he's always got that little extra. That little extra is what you got to take out of the man. If you can take this little extra out of him, you can defeat him. Seems like he never gives up either.
And into a pinning position again.
Right here, I thought I had him, but he had his foot over the rope.
Excuse me a minute here. I just want to say something real quick to interrupt you. I wish somebody to go there and tell Mr. Saito I'm ready anytime he is. I'm warmed up. I'm ready to arm wrestle him here on TV. So somebody just tell him I'm ready at any time he is, or at his convenience, anytime.
Well, the comments of Paul Orndorff. Back to action on this videotape.
Well, right here, the tide's turned a little bit, Charlie. You know, Les Thornton, like I said, is a hard man to beat, but I beat him twice for that belt. 2 times. Right here, he knocks a referee out of the ring. See right here, I'm wore the guy down. I'm going to hit him. I'm thinking of cross body block. But see, he takes me and throws me over the top rope. He knew what he had done. You know, a lot of people said I pulled a lot of tricks but, you know, I have. And all the time I'm thinking in that ring just like he was. He was thinking then, well, I'll throw him over the top. I'm going to keep my belt. The referee's got to see it. And at this point, I didn't think the referee had saw it. I'm trying to come back in the ring. Here he goes to slam me. See, I go down. I hook him right here. I think I got him. 1, 2. I hear the count. Here, I think I got him. But the referee says no. He's trying to tell him that, he threw me over the top. Well, that's okay. Les Thornton, you elude me all you want. But I know for a fact that you didn't want to come back in this area down here. So...
You know something, Charlie Platt? I've watched this reject from a Walt Disney Film Festival long enough. I've seen this stupid film on TV the past 3 weeks. I'm about to puke. Let me tell you something, Jerry Stubbs. What you were, what you have been means nothing now, because I am the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. I represent the country, and I'm the only man who should face Les Thornton, and he won't even sign a match with me because he's afraid, brother. And you put that in your pipe and smoke it. So you think you ought to wrestle Les Thornton? As far as I'm concerned, the only thing you're a contender for is the Telly Savalas Fan Club Member of the Year Award, Stubbs. If you think you're mapped to get in the ring against this belt, get in the ring right now, boy. Come on, huh? You think you're mapped to do it? You want to wrestle me now? Hey, I'll kick your can right now on TV. I don't care where the hell it is. Come on.
You're scheduled to wrestle Joe Turner at a match here.
He wants to wrestle me. Well, you know, it really doesn't make any difference who I wrestle, so I'll wrestle him right now.
All right, we're phone. Let's go to the ring. And Stubbs, big jump by Lane going into the ring. We've got us an unscheduled main event any place in the country. United States Junior Heavyweight Champion Stan Lane, former World Junior and U.S. Junior Champion Billy Stubbs. Lane with a nice takedown, and certainly Lane moving now. But, Charlie, we should have quite a battle. But Lane taking that initiative, the reverse neck breaker, and still Stubbs not coming up. He was stunned early on as he entered that ring, and Lane taking full advantage. And Lane continues to work on Stubbs. Wow, he's taking him into that turnbuckle now. Modification of a Cobra, it looked like, going for a sleeper. He's got it hooked in. Haven't seen Lane using this hold before, but certainly he's got it. And if he can hang on, it should be effective. Stubbs fighting, but now has been slowed down. The light's starting to dim for him, Charlie. And Jerry needs to fight his way into those ropes or something to break free. The U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion coming out, challenging Stubbs. I think Lane has in mind that he's a little upset that he's not meeting Les Thornton for a title shot in this area.
Of course, either one of these men very deserving. And of course, Stubbs, 2 times World Junior Heavyweight Champion, certainly should get the nod. But right now, Stan Lane is applying that his variation of the Cobra, the sleeper, to Jerry Stubbs. Stubbs still in there kicking. And apparently Lane not familiar enough with the hold to put his man out early on. And this allowing Stubbs now to come to his feet. Trying to fight his way out. He may do it, Charlie.
Stubbs coming out of that sleeper. Stubbs firing away at Lane. Hard right. And Lane goes down. Stubbs back to his feet for the first time.
Scoops him, body slam, and Jerry Stubbs building an offense now. Stan Lane being stunned. And down he goes, that looping right hand of Jerry. And Stubbs very much back in this one now, Charlie.
Stubbs firing away at Lane, takes his man, throws him into the ropes. High back body drop. Stubbs has come to life, dropping that elbow into the back. Lane may regret that jumping of Stubbs as Stubbs was trying to get in the ring, Les.
Exactly. Lane outside. Stubbs follows him out. They're battling on the floor. The referee's starting a double count now. And I don't think either man is paying a bit of attention to our official in that ring now.
Still out on the floor. That's it. Both men counted out. Both men counted out. But they're not stopping it here, Charlie. Stubbs still going at him, and Stan Lane moves to the outside. And ring official Bruce Fortson saying no match. Both men counted out on the floor during that fighting on the...
Fans were getting their money's worth, no doubt about it, watching that kind of match. And Southeastern's new partners, International Sports Incorporated, were getting big things done. All right, bringing back Les Thornton all the way from England just 2 weeks after his last time defending in America. This show was really off to a great start, Ron.
Well, it wasn't even the end of the first segment of the show, Dave. Actually, I said there was a lot going on in this one, and there truly was. Before Charlie and Les could close out the opening segment, here comes Ron Bass. He pushed the ring announcer up into the ring. Then he came running over to the set demanding that after seeing Jerry Stubbs take up all that time, that he wanted him to move his scheduled match from later in the show up to right now. So, he said it was because he was about to wrestle the Southeastern champion, Ken Lucas, next week. And he said that was a much more important match than the Stubbs versus Thornton match. And besides that, he said he could beat his opponent in half the time it took Stubbs to win his first TV match, which was only about 2 minutes long, as a matter of fact. So, I guess Bass was really sure that he was going to be able to beat somebody quick. And then he went to the ring and he waved for him to get his opponent out of the dressing room. And the guy came out and went to the ring. And all of a sudden, Charlie and Les were not sure quite how to handle Les, man. It was like, wait, they kind of lost control. And but they finally decided, let's just let him go. So Ron's opponent got in the ring with him. And I guess the rest of that's history.
Okay, so, Bass, he was a big man, a really big man, and I certainly would have let him have his way for sure. All right, so I guess we'll find out who he was wrestling when Brian plays our next video. Here it is.
Your attention, please. Our next match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing, in the corner to my left, from Riverdale, Georgia, at 248 pounds, Ken Timms. Ken Timms. His opponent, at 280 pounds, from Pampa, Texas, Ron Bass. Ron Bass. Ron Bass taking on Ken Timms, and
we're going to be seeing the other side of that tag team coin, Charlie. After this match, we'll roll that tape through again, and Andy Armstrong's with us out here.
I'd like to hear their comments on that, and I certainly think they deserve a chance to hear their comments about the match. Bass going to work early.
Ken from Riverdale, Georgia, getting indoctrinated with the Ron Bass way of professional wrestling, and not too enjoyable indoctrination here, Charlie.
A lot of people wonder about wrestling, how they can have it sponsored in their community. The information going across the screen now for non-profit organizations. Write to Southeastern Wrestling, WTVY, Box 1089, Dothan, Alabama, 36301. Information on how to have wrestling, sponsor wrestling in your town or community as a fundraising event.
Right now, Bass with that headlock and going for the Bulldog headlock on Ken Timms, and Ron Bass wasting no time as he bailed right into Timms, pulls him up by the hair on the count of one. Referee Weathers warning Bass about that particular infraction, but Bass like a man possessed in there today, Charlie.
And again, Bass dropping that elbow for the pin. That's going to wrap it up. And your winner in short time, the big Texan Ron Bass over Ken Timms.
I got to admit, that was a very quick win, probably less than 2 minutes. All right, did somebody have an interview after this match?
Yes, it was actually Bass's opponent, Ken Lucas, who is now a two-time Southeastern champion since he had come back to down to that part of the country.
All right, so here we go. We're going to set that interview up of Ron Bass and Ken Lucas that happened right after that short match.
Box office. With me, the new Southeastern heavyweight champion, Kenny Lucas. And one of those feature events will be Kenny defending that title against the always tough outlaw Ron Bass. Before I talk to the champion, let's hear from the challenger.
You know, whenever you win a major title, you should be happy. You should be hollering. You got your head out high. But Ken Lucas, how can you do that? You did not beat nobody, so how can you be proud of that? You had that goofy Tennessee stud get involved in your match. That's how you won the title. But now then, it's going to be me and you Monday night right here in Boutwell. Now I want you to make a challenge. Keep all your little buddies in the dressing room. Keep all your cronies out of the ring. It's just going to be me and you, one-on-one, to see who is the true Southeastern heavyweight champion, Lucas.
Kenny, you've got the belt. Bass wants it one-on-one. How do you feel about it?
Les, I feel this way. You know, there's a word that they use called retribution. And what you do to somebody, you get paid back for. Well, Jimmy Golden won this belt the same way that I took it from him. And Mr. Golden, I want to say one thing to you, man. You've got Ron Fuller, and I'd hate to be in your shoes coming Monday night. And as far as you're concerned, Mr. Bass, I'd like to meet you very much one-to-one because I want to see what you can do when the load gets hard and heavy. And you're coming after this belt, my man, and I'm going to tell you one thing for sure. I'm not in to play no head games with you, brother. I'm coming right at you, and I'm planning on keeping that belt. Mr. Golden, Ron Fuller knocks the living holy heck out of you, man.
Bass is talking about keeping everybody out of the ring. He's first to a little outside help if the going gets rough, Kenny.
Well, you know, those guys are pretty good about 2-on-1. Or interfering. Well, now things are going to start changing around here. We're going to see some happenings. I'm going to tell you one thing for sure, Les. It's going to take a damn good man to get this belt from me, and I'll guarantee you one thing. I know how Ron Fuller feels, and when he starts on Jimmy Golden, I'm afraid he's going to work him over like he's never been worked over before.
Kenny, good luck to you. Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, a super Southeastern wrestling lineup. A great array of stars, a night of action and excitement. You'll want to be there.
So why did neither of them, Ron, why did neither even mention the short match? Why was that?
Well, I think, man, because the most important match was the one that was coming up between the two of them. And Bass and Lucas had already pre-cut the interview for that championship match earlier in the day.
Yeah. You had 4 videos in the first TV segment alone, 2 matches with Jerry Stubbs, one with Ron Bass, and then an interview with Lucas and Bass. That was a loaded start to that TV show. So what was next?
Well, it was a tag match with Paul Orndorff and Norvell Austin against 2 extremely inferior, I got to call them that, opponents. But as good as wrestlers Orndorff and Austin were, I mean, there's a lot of guys who were inferior. Dennis Condrey and Randy Rose, uninvited during the course of this match, had joined Charlie and Les at the set. And there was a lot of banter between these 2 teams back and forth as the match was going on, which was really unusual. And then when Orndorff and Austin were pummeling their opponents really good, Condrey and Rose were saying goodbye to Norvell Austin. And
Wow.
They had this upcoming Southeastern tag team match with Lumberjacks going to be around the ring. And they were saying how those Lumberjacks weren't even going to be necessary, except, he said, maybe to carry Norvell's carcass from the ring when they finished with him. And he was going to be gone for a long time this time. And they also claimed it would mean the end of Paul Orndorff as an opponent, because no one, they said, was going to want to be his partner after they see what he does to Norvell Austin. Then after the end of the match, after the commercial break, the pre-cut interview with the 4 of them was played. So Conry and Rose were going to be at the set with Charlie, and Paul and Norvell were going to be in Studio B.
All right, here comes that interview.
A lot of controversy surrounding the Southeastern Tag titles recently. With me now, the Southeastern Tag Team Champions, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey. And some of the complaints coming from your opponents, gentlemen, is from, of course, the outside interference that's been taking place. Also, the possibility of you two leaving the ring in order to maintain those titles. However, a situation has been signed in which you will be defending these titles, and lumberjack rules. Wrestlers will be stationed around the ring to keep the participants inside the squared circle during this title match. We have some comments now from the men you'll be going against, Norvell Austin and Paul Orndorff.
Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, time for the big payback, baby. You remember what you did to me? Well, I was out for a long time and lost a lot of money. But it's time for the payback, and you're going to get paid back because of the simple reason that it's men going to be around that ring. You can't run and hide like you used to. And payback is what we're going to do. How about it, Paul?
You know something, Norvell, for the last 46 weeks, Rose and Condrey have been running from us. They've done everything they can possibly do to elude us. Well, like you said, this time there's going to be lumberjacks. There'll be men stationed all the way around that ring. And when they go to run, they're going to grab them and they're going to throw them right back into it. And you know, you've got to score to settle with them, because anybody that hurt me like they did you and put you out of wrestling and put you out of that paycheck every week, well, you got to score to settle, baby, and you're going to get them, because when they do go to run from him, you're going to be right back there with them. You can beat them all you want, and that's just what we're going to do. We're going to beat them right in the middle of that ring.
You know, cuz, it's just like the little kid back home we used to take the marbles off of, old Juice Newton. Remember him?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him well.
He used to cry. He'd go home and tell Mama that we stole his marbles. Now they lost, and they're crying. We're not crying, boys. It's going to take more than talk and gumption to get these belts. We can guarantee you that, right, cuz?
Boy, I tell you one thing. The Southeastern promotion's trying every trick in the book, but it's not going to work, boys. I guarantee.
Okay, Ron, this card was shaping up to be something special. Who was on the personality profile?
Well, I'd come in early that day to do the personality profile. It was my first day back, and I was first time back in the WTVY TV station, man, in months. And not a single fan had seen me yet. I came really early, didn't want the fans to even know I was there, basically. And I'll never forget, man, the ovation I got later after we recorded this, when the fans in the studio for the first time in a long time saw me sitting at that set, man, with Charlie Platt as they were playing the personality profile. And I got a few goosebumps, I got to admit, Dave.
I bet you did. I mean, that crowd in that TV studio was so intense. If something happened in that TV studio, that crowd just went crazy. Fans were extremely upset with what had happened to your father. So it was one of the dirtiest things I'd ever seen in wrestling. So I bet Jimmy Golden and Ron Bass got more heat from that than just about any heel in the sport ever did. So let's roll that historic personality profile, and here it is.
Wrestling, it's my pleasure to welcome back to the Southeastern wrestling area the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller. Ron, you've had a successful tour of the West Coast.
That's right, Charlie. I spent more than 3 weeks on the West Coast, and I was able to win the Pacific Coast Championship, and I was very proud of that. And I probably would have still been out there in that part of the country had it not been for an incident that we're going to look at here in just a few minutes that happened here at the television station, and I was notified of it in California, and that's exactly the reason I'm back in this part of the country.
I was going to say it's unfortunate for you to have to return to the area under the certain circumstances that we're about to witness. Many fans here in the Southeastern wrestling area have already seen this particular piece of videotape. It took place in this television studio recently, and it involves your father, Ron.
That's right. He was here to referee a match for a championship, and he was attacked by Golden and Ron Bass early in the morning, as we always do personality profile. It's earlier in the day when there's nobody else in the studio, and I guess they figured that's a real good time to jump somebody because that's Golden and Bass's style. And I'd like to say on behalf of my father, I think he'd have beat the hell out of both of them if he had a little bit better chance at it. And I believe that down the line, I know that he's still very, very mad about this incident. He's going to get his hands on Jimmy Golden somewhere at some time, and when he does, I'm going to be sitting in the building to watch it myself, because that's going to be a treat for me, real treat.
Let's backtrack a couple of weeks and join that special segment of Personality Profile in which I was interviewing Buddy Fuller.
Hey, I'm on a car. Hey, old man Fuller, you know what this is right here? This belongs to your son, the Tennessee stud. I ran him out of town, and you ain't refereeing no match of mine.
I'm just here to referee. I don't
Hey, throw you in here, man.
There you see the attack by Ron Bass and Jimmy Golden, Ron.
Well, you can see Golden shoves him in the ring. Watch this shot right there in the kisser. I think that's the end of Jimmy Golden right there. I don't believe he wanted any more of it. And as you can see, it's hard for one man to fight two, and especially when you're unprepared to fight anybody to begin with. And now they're really doing a job on him. You're going to see Bass holds him here for the pile driver, and Golden jumps off the second rope there and jams his legs. And that's enough to put anybody out. And you're going to see here they really just continue to do a job on him, and there's nobody in the studio at that time to help him. And he was carried out of the studio that morning, and he's gone from this particular area at this time. But he will be back, and he will get his hands on Jimmy Golden. But that's not the point anymore, Charlie Platt. The point is that a long time ago I left this part of the country when Jimmy Golden turned on me, when Jimmy Golden pulled the mask off of me, and they beat and pounded me to death, him and Ron Bass, and I was humiliated and mentally unprepared to participate in wrestling in this part of the country. Well, I'm not that way anymore, Jimmy Golden, and you know, it's a bad thing that the people just saw that. It's a bad thing you did to my father, but it's a good thing for me. I needed it. I needed something like that to fire me up and to bring me back into this part of the country and to give me the proper incentive to take care of you, Jimmy Golden, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know, my old man always had a saying, you know, we always lived on farms, or when we lived in ranches and stuff, there was a lot of snakes around, you know, and he says if a snake ever bites you, he said the thing to do is to step on him then or step on him before. Well, the snake bit me, and I didn't step on him at the time. But I've come more than 2,000 miles across this country. I gave up the Pacific Coast Championship, and I intend to do some stepping, Jimmy Golden. I intend to do some stomping, Jimmy Golden. I'm going to take care of the problem that you've created in this part of the country. You know, Charlie, this part of the country is the prettiest place I've ever been. I've wrestled all over the world. I love the West Coast. It's real nice. But this is home for me. This is where I want to participate. This is where I'm going to wrestle from now on. I'm never leaving this part of the country again. And I've been home now for a week or so. I've had people stop me all over this part of the country and said, do something about Jimmy Golden. Do something about him. We can't stand him. We want him gone. And Charlie Platt, I am going to do something for all of the fans in the southeastern area, for each and every one of you that wants to see Jimmy Golden get what he has coming to him. I intend to give him every bit of everything he's got coming and a whole lot more, Jimmy Golden. When I get through with you this time, Jimmy Golden, when I finish the job this time, Jimmy Golden, you will be gone, boy, and you will be glad to be gone, because when it comes down to it, when you did that to my father, you should have been gone then.
That was a good one. So how did you follow that, Ron?
Well, basically with a big-time Japanese star in another video match with two of probably the best wrestlers in the world. A couple of both these guys. It's going to be, I think, it's going to be Saito against Robert Gibson.
All right, and that quickly, we go right back to our producer, Brian, who's going to play that match for us. Here it is.
Your attention, please. Our next match, one fall, 10 minutes time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left, at 219 pounds from Pensacola, Florida, Robert Gibson. His opponent at 245 pounds from Tokyo, Japan, the current Alabama state champion, Mr. Saito.
The Alabama state heavyweight champion, Saito, taking on Robert Gibson. And Robert giving up quite a bit of weight in this match, but he's fast, and he can move in that ring. Robert giving away about 22, 24 pounds here. Saito right away on the takedown, goes for the ride. Robert finds the ropes, and he'll get a fresh start. Saito pressing immediately for advantage. And, of course, it will be the speed, the science of Robert Gibson against the power, the cunning, and the fantastic wide range of maneuvers by the Japanese ace, Mr. Saito. Saito double traps his man with the leg now. Cradles him over. And we'll get a break on the rope. Referee Larry Brock calling for the break. Now they're starting fresh once again, collar and elbow. Gibson comes up with the headlock now. Cinching up on it. Saito. Man with the phenomenal grip, Charlie, that uses that sleeper like I've never seen it before, taking his fingers, digging into the carotid artery along the neck, and using it so effectively, along with a array of suplexes and fantastic wrestling maneuvers.
Mr. Saito, the Alabama state heavyweight champion, front chancery now on Robert Gibson. Robert Gibson trying to maneuver out. And he does, comes up with the arm bar on Saito.
Saito back into that front face block. Now, a nice takedown to the side. And like I say, with this man, Charlie, I've never wrestled him, of course, but I'm not sure that he wants to. There's so many styles. He comes at you so many different ways. It's really, really tough to defend against him. And Robert Gibson doing a very admirable job at this point.
He'll be, what amazes me, he can change his style in midstream. He'll be applying one type of hold to an opponent and then turn right back around with a different style of wrestling altogether.
Exactly, Charlie. And, of course, Robert Gibson, one of the fine junior heavyweights in the division today, very capable wrestler. Saito realizes Gibson has the speed, has the science, and he has nullified that. He has tried to neutralize Robert at every move, staying on top of him, keeping him on that canvas. And that power, you can see it there, displayed in that full Boston Crab as Robert bridges up, Saito applying the pressure, and he's a well-put-together man at 242 pounds, Charlie.
Indeed, Robert Gibson in trouble. Bridging, trying to find some means of escape,
and relieving that pressure on the back, which is excruciating, with the power of Saito applying it through that Boston Crab. It's a man from Japan doing the crab from Boston. Saito using a little extra leverage on the knee pads, and Larry Brock catches it, calls for the break.
Takes his man head first in the turnbuckle. Saito opening up on Robert Gibson. Saito again, the open palm slap. But it's Gibson firing back. A good two righties to the midsection. Gibson firing back at Saito. Beautiful. Well played. But Saito sidesteps that one. That'll cause Robert some problems.
And Gibson bouncing all the way up to his knees on that one, Charlie, and Saito puts him away. A great effort by Robert Gibson, but that suplex, which bounced Robert off that canvas up into his knees, was all it took. Saito comes up to...
That definitely was 2 stars right there. It was truly amazing how good Saito was. All right, was there anyone interviewing after this match?
Yeah, there was, man. As a matter of fact, Bob and Brad Armstrong were at the set, and Masa Saito and Stan Lane were in Studio B by this time. Saito went straight in the studio. Lane went over there as well. And so they were going to talk about the next week. Bob was going to be facing Saito for the Alabama title, and Brad was going to be wrestling Stan Lane for the United States Junior Heavyweight belt.
Definitely a loaded show. So what was in the last segment of the show?
Well, I got to apologize in advance, man, for a little bit of the poor quality in this video. But I think, man, what happens in it's going to make it all worthwhile, I guess is a good way of putting it. Jimmy Golden came to the set with Charlie and Les, last part of the show. He had a cape on. He was going to be wrestling, and he was ready to wrestle. And I'm going to let the rest of it speak for itself.
All right, here we go. And Brian's going to set that one up for us.
We're scheduled to go into the ring. However, Jimmy Golden...
I just want to remind everybody how I feel about these masked men and the way I take care of business. You know, I took this one off of ex-Tennessee Stud, you know, and I got just a little film here that I want to show everybody.
There's no...
So they can know what the great Jimmy Golden can do right there.
There's no film schedule here.
And I want you to see what happened to your man at Tennessee Stud. I destroyed him, and I took his mask off because I can't stand masked men. And I beat one here last week at Patriots, brother. I mopped up the ring with him. Look at me right there. The Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, laying flat on his back, begging for mercy. Don't hit me no more, Jimmy Golden. And he lost his fight.
Let's take this up. This tape wasn't scheduled. This tape wasn't scheduled to go on the air. Let's
what do you
take
mean
this.
We're showing it, ain't we?
Well,
I had it. The director knew about it, and I had it straightened out. And they got another masked man up here against me right now, and I'm fixing to go up here and take care of business, brother.
Comments of Jimmy Golden. Let's go to the ring for the introduction from Al Roberts. Your attention, please. Our next match, 1 fall, TV time remaining. In the corner to my left at 220 pounds, from parts unknown, the Demon. Here's it. And Golden tails right in there. Not even waiting for Al Roberts to finish the introduction, Charlie, and goes to work on the Demon. Masked man being driven into the canvas by Golden, and the man that calls himself a super stud, Jimmy Golden,
is pounding away on the masked man.
Jimmy Golden going to work very hurriedly on the demon. Pulls his man up.
Golden kicking away at him, and the masked man is just even getting started as the big man from Montgomery, Alabama, pounds away. Golden, with that kick into the midsection, doubles his man up, sends him to that canvas once again. Golden not letting up at all, staying right on top of the masked man. Going for that neck breaker. And he may have him here, Charlie.
Wait a minute, he pulls him up again.
Pushes Larry Rock off. Wait a minute, look at here. Ron Fuller moves out, rolls the referee out, taps Golden on the back. Golden breaks it to the referee. And it's Ron Fuller going to work on cousin Jimmy Golden, and we've got a battle. Look at that, he's stuffing that mask in his mouth. He's trying to stuff the Tennessee Stud's mask in the mouth of Jimmy Golden. Mask moves in.
Now here comes Ken Lucas. Ron Fuller stuffing that mask in the mouth of Jimmy Golden.
Ken Lucas and Ron Bass squared off. Connery moves out before Golden's free. The Stud's still trying to put that mask in Golden's mouth. He's got it. He's got it in there.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
That was absolutely wild. I mean, crazy. So my guess, the first time you were seen in person since coming back, right?
Yeah, it was the first time that I actually came into the studio.
Man, what a great way to end a TV show with your mask shoved down Jimmy Golden's throat. But this might not be the last video, I understand.
Yep, there's one more, Dave. The interview that Golden and I kind of pre-recorded earlier that day.
Okay, so here we go. The last video of this Studcast. Here it is.
Tickets for Monday night's matches go on sale 9 a.m. Monday morning at the Boutwell box office, and the sparks will fly as the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, has returned to the area for action. His opponent will be cousin Jimmy Golden. Before I talk to Ron, let's hear from Jimmy Golden.
Ron Fuller, I know that you're feeling real big and bad, sonny boy, because you and Kenny Lucas, not one but two of you, came out there and took my title. Let me tell you something. Neither one of you have seen the day that you can beat me one-on-one, sonny boy. And I want you to take a look here at this Tennessee Stud mask. You remember this mask, boy, the day that I pulled it off of your head down in southern Alabama and ran you out of town like the dog that you are? Well, that lesson wasn't good enough for you because you ignorant jerk, you are the fool enough to come back and give me trouble like this. You remember what I done to your punk brother, to your old man? I dropped him on his head and smashed his fat face. Now it's just me and you, Daddy, gonna step in the ring, and how sweet it is, my man, because I'm gonna beat you, son, like you was a red-headed stepchild, like you've been needing it coming all of your life. And I want you to get ready for it, because in Birmingham, it's gonna happen, boy.
Ron, I know there's more to this than just deciding who's the better wrestler.
I'll tell you what, you're out there holding that mask on your hand talking about somebody a fool. You the prince of fools, boy. You look like a court jester. Well, I'm going to take that mask. I hope you bring it to the ring with you Monday night in Birmingham. I'm going to shove that down your throat, and you're going to eat that mask thread by thread. Last week, Jimmy Golden, you're right, you lost your belt, and it was not because I set foot in the ring until you had lost your belt. But I got my hands on you, and they drug you out of there. Well, they're going to do it again, Jimmy Golden. Monday night, they're going to drag you out again, but there's going to be a difference this time, son. They're going to be dragging and carrying, because you ain't walking away from the ring Monday night in Birmingham. And I will remember my dad. I will remember that mask. I'll remember everything when I step in that ring Monday night, and you are gone, boy.
Boutwell Auditorium, Monday night, is Super Southeastern Wrestling.
Man, what a big Studcast production this has been. So what happened in the arenas as you got out there to work amongst the crowd the week after this TV show?
Well, Robert Gibson and Chris Markoff, they had that 15-minute time limit draw, the Studcast and the last Studcast, and we doubled the time to 30 minutes, and by golly, they had another another draw. So they hadn't been a winner in 2 weeks in their matches. In the United States Junior Championship match with the champion Stan Lane against Brad Armstrong, that also ended in a 30-minute time limit draw. Then the next match was for the Alabama Championship with the champion, Masa Saito, taking on Bob Armstrong. And this one had some interference from Stan Lane to keep Bob from winning with his sleeper hold. He had the sleeper hold. Stan Lane comes down. He gets in Bob. That brought Brad back to the ring, too. And so both Saito and Bob got disqualified for outside interference. And then all four of them got into it. And boy, did the building like that. I tell you, they were really happy to see that happen. And so we were going to bring them back in a tag match for the following week. And then in the Southeastern Championship match between Ken Lucas and challenger Ron Bass, both guys got disqualified. And they were going to be returning in a no disqualification match the following week. And for the Southeastern tag belts, with lumberjacks around the ring to keep the contestants inside the ring, champions Condrey and Rose, they made good on their threat to hurt Norvell so badly that he was not going to be able to return to the ring for a long time. Actually, a very long time. And they did that when lumberjacks started fighting outside the ring, which happened a lot of times in these lumberjack matches. Wrestlers would get into it with each other. Paul Orndorff was on one side of the ring, and all this fighting was going on. And on the other side of the ring, Condrey had pile drive Norvell Austin. Rose jumped up on the apron of the ring. Condrey had Austin out there on the concrete. He stuck his head in there, man, and Rose jumped off and grabbed Norvell's legs and drove him head first into the concrete. Wow. Instead of a steel chair like last time, it was on the concrete floor. Norvell ended up going to the hospital, and he wasn't going to be coming back to wrestle for a long time.
Man, I mean, when you're talking about somebody's head and a concrete floor, somebody could have been killed. I mean, for real. So I think they were serious about it on the TV show. That's one way to get rid of your competition, and a horrible way at that. All right, so what happened in the World Junior Heavyweight match with Stubbs and Thornton? Take us there.
This match turned out to be a 1-hour time limit draw, man. What a great match. These two guys had some phenomenal matches. I think fans could have watched 2 hours of it, but it was a time limit draw for 1 hour. And then it was time for me and Jimmy to finish the night. And we had pretty much a short match and a darn sure a violent one. Both of us ended up bleeding. Two referees got involved, and they had to both be carried back to the dressing room. Ron Bass came down to help Jimmy Golden. Lucas came down to help me, and then almost both dressing rooms had to come and basically try to pull us apart and get things stopped. So it was just the first of many matches like this to follow between me and Jimmy.
What an incredible night of wrestling and one huge fight. So how about the attendances in the 4 major markets?
Well, the crowds were back up there, man. Not far below those double world championship matches cards from 2 weeks earlier. Birmingham was over 6,000, had 6,200. Mobile, we were back in Expo Hall, so obviously we had another sellout with 6,000. Montgomery had 4,500. Dothan went back over 5,000 people again, went up to 5,100, which was a total of 21,800, almost 22,000 in 4 nights.
Wow. I mean, I think that this has been one of the best new Studcasts so far since the streaming channel started. The most videos and the longest combined time of those videos so far. So in my opinion, there's no comparison between the old Studcast and the new one. So, all right, Stud, set it up for us next week. Where do we ride next week?
Well, Golden and I were going to be back at it again, man. Condrey and Rose, they might have gotten rid of Norvell, but they had already made more enemies, man, than they knew at this point. Orndorff, all he had to do was ask Jerry Stubbs if he'd be his partner. And after what Condrey and Rose had done to Stubbs a couple of weeks earlier, I mean, obviously, Orndorff got him a partner very easily. And there were other things going on, too, and we'll get into all that next week.
Good deal. All right. Any final comments on today's big show, Stud?
Well, thanks always, man, to our streaming channel customers, man, for their continued support. And please take care of yourselves and others. May God bless us all.
For Ron Fuller in the Great Smoky Mountains, I'm David Summers saying thank you for listening. Find me at davidsummersproductions@gmail.com. This Studcast is a David Summers production for Tennessee Stud, LLC.
Thanks for joining us today for this historic Studcast. The true story continues next week. So full Nelson your friends and point them in our direction for another ride with the Tennessee Stud.
1, 2, 3.
This is David Summers saying so long from the Great Smoky Mountains.